Gabe, you knew about the cornerback you were matching up against on Saturday, and just watching it back, maybe, how did you think you did?
That was a pretty good game. Felt like they did good. It was great competition. There's things that need to be cleaned up though from Saturday that should have happened that didn't. We didn't execute 100%, but I feel like it was a pretty good day.
Gabe, I know you always get up for every game and every corner you're going to be faced with, but did you pay attention to stuff during the week? Because they're talking about number 11 being a potential first-round NFL draft pick. I mean, you had to know that and know that it was a big game for you to showcase your ability as well.
Yeah, I knew it was an opportunity for me to show that I can, play with anybody I step in front of, and watched a lot of film on them, learned them the best way I could, and just was able to execute on Saturday.
Gabe, you've had about 8 months to be around Dylan and Gabriel. Is there anything that surprises you even now to this point in the first 3 games and how he's performed?
No, I mean he was a great quarterback day one since he came in. I mean he could always sling the ball. He was a smart guy. We're in the hotel day before the game, and then obviously during the game, and he has one of our signal callers, Hayden, come in, and he goes through every single play and does every single call. At the line of scrimmage, he tells the O-line. So I mean, he prepares himself. He's ready. When he goes out there, he's confident. That's why he's able to execute.
Hey Gabe, so every one of your starting receivers had a touchdown on the day as well as the tight end. What does that say about your unit when everybody can contribute like that?
Exactly. Just everybody can make a play. I'm glad to see guys like Marlon Williams, Trey Nixon, Jacob Harris, Hescock, all those guys make big plays when the ball's in the air. I'm so happy for all of them. I'm glad that they were able to showcase what they can do.
During the week, we talked about how the conventional wisdom was sort of that you guys were fast and they were physical. Did you feel like you guys sort of came out and proved that you're not just fast, you guys are as physical as anybody as well?
Yeah, I mean, you can go watch the film on that. I mean, we've seen some of that today. We're fast and physical. Watch Sean Burgess run down on kickoff return. Watch our O-line. Watch JJ. Watch Cole come around, pulling around the corner. Things like that. We're a real physical team. If you watch that whole game, you'll see that we outplayed them physically, mentally, all that. So.
A lot of people were seeing Gabe through the deep ball really for the first time probably on Saturday. A lot of people were commenting about how beautiful of a deep ball it is. Has he always looked like that in practice, or just kind of talk about the deep ball ability that he has?
Yeah, I mean, he always looked like that. The guy, I mean, he's really talented. He's always looked like that since day one. He's been really good when he came here. Been ready to play, over preparing. So that's why we're all really confident in him.
Last one, man. Gabe, you get another chance to play a Power 5 team this week in Pittsburgh. What do you know about them, and what do you remember from the game last year that stood out to you about them?
They're a great team. I mean, they'll come and play, they'll fight. They're physical guys. We'll run the defense really well. Just ready to go out there and play.
I don't want to sound like a broken record player asking this question every single year, but
What's your name again?
Andrea Abelson.
Did you go to the Touchdown Club like a couple years back?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, you were there?
Uh-huh.
Nice to see you again. Nice to see you again. Did I give you your, did I speak or did I give you your?
You spoke.
Okay. Same story with you guys, continuing to dominate when you play Power 5 teams, and yet nothing changes in terms of the national narrative or discussion. You've been a part of this program now for years, and nothing seems to change. What do you feel like has to change for people to view you guys differently and not just as a team that only plays a couple Power 5 schools every year?
I mean, I think people are starting to realize what we can do.
Okay.
I mean, coaches that we play against always have something to say about us after they're done playing us. So, I mean, I'm just happy I'm on a winning team. I mean, we're sitting here winning, we're having fun together. I mean, it's probably, I'm blessed to be able to say what I've done here at UCF as a team, as a player individually. So, I'm just happy with what's going on.
Does it mean more to you when you hear coaches and players say that stuff because they've actually been on the field with you guys as opposed to?
Exactly. You love to show people what you can actually do once they see you. I mean, it sounds good when you're talking about us, and but I mean, I don't see why people can say the stuff they say when they see us on film. Like we're totally different. We're totally different. When we get on that field against you guys. So, I mean, we shut a lot of people up at the end of the day. So.
Is it frustrating as a player when people talk about Power 5 and UCF's not Power 5, so somehow maybe they're not as worthy or their talent isn't as good? Does that frustrate you as a player when you hear stuff like that?
I mean, you do get frustrated because it's like I mean, I don't know what we have to do to keep proving that we can compete with those guys. I mean, even though that, yeah, we did, lose to LSU, I mean, it's not like they blew us out of the water like these other teams are getting blown out. Like, they beat us by 8 points. A loss is a loss, but still, I mean, we can compete with anybody that we step in front of us. I mean, we show that every single year now, so.
Does that stuff like that fuel you just week to week during the off season, knowing that no matter what you do, it just seems like you don't get the credit you deserve?
Yeah, exactly. Again, like I said that we're just happy to all be playing together, happy to be winning, happy to be able to put on for Orlando. So I mean, I feel like that's they can't take that joy away from that.
I know you said Dylan, nothing's really surprising, but come on, he's a true freshman and he's throwing those bombs out there. I mean, there had been a time, spring, summer, August, that you had to been surprised at how well a true freshman could
I mean, yeah,
swing it.
looking at him throw, I was like, man, this guy can really throw. But also, I mean, he's broke records that McKenzie and him set in Hawaii. So I expected that stuff from him. I expect him to do good, and for either you're a true freshman or you're a senior, like when you get on that field with me, I expect you to be, I don't care what you are, what I'm saying? I don't care if you've been here for 5 years or this is your first year. We want to reach perfection, so I mean, I feel like that's how you have to treat everybody who comes in.
It almost feels like he's got the poise and confidence of a senior, not a guy who's only been in there for a couple of games. Is that just who he is by nature, part of his personality that allows him to be so cool and calm out there?
Yeah, again, he's a cool, calm, collected guy, but also, I mean, he puts the work in. I mean, that's how you get confidence. Like I said, he was in the hotel room 2 days before the game. He's sitting there calling every single call you give to the O-line as soon as we see the signal. I mean, this guy was over-preparing. He was ready to go. Every time he looked at the signal, you see him go straight to O-line, know exactly what to say. So, I mean, every time he comes to me and tells me why he threw a certain ball, he can tell me what the safeties and everybody are doing and why he made this decision, the rules that he follows. So, I mean, he over-prepares. He knows what he's doing out there.
Going back to your matchup with Adebo, the broadcast on ESPN said you had circled that matchup for months. I mean, really, how long in advance have you sort of been preparing, maybe in your mind, to match up with a guy like that?
Well, I heard before the season started that he was a preseason All-American. So once the week finally came up, I was actually really excited. Watching film on him stuff, I actually lost some sleep over it because I was so ready to play against him. And just to show that we can play against those guys like that and still make big plays and compete. And he was a great corner. I mean, probably one of the best I've been against. So I mean, he was really good. Class act kind of guy. I'm happy I was able to compete against him.
Were you guys saying anything to each other throughout the game?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't say anything like nothing out of hand or anything like that. No.
That matchup though, because people again, the national recognition he got in the preseason, people know who he is.
Yep.
They may not be as familiar with you. Do you feel like that game was sort of a coming out party for the nation for you against the top corner of the game?
Exactly. I mean, I feel like all these people are saying these things about me, but it's like. I've been doing it every single week. I've worked for this opportunity to go against these guys and show that I compete against them. So I know that a lot of people didn't know. I just had to have the opportunity to show other people that I can do it.
You got in the film room at like before 6 a.m.?
I was out, yeah. I was watching him heavy. I tried to learn everything he did, try to pick up on tells that I can figure out what he was trying to do and things like that. Watched a lot of film on him. I knew how I can beat him. I knew things that were his weakness, and I tried to exploit those.
Speaking of which, because he's so aggressive with ball in the air,
yep.
You knew you could exploit his ability and you could do double moves on him.
Yep.
The starter go and stuff like that. When you knew about that, and how I guess satisfying was it to know that it worked out? You did a double move on him and you burned him and you got a TD off of it.
Yeah, I mean it feels good when you're able to study a player so much to where you can actually pick up on what you can do against him and know what you can do that'll be successful. And once that actually is executed, you feel really proud about yourself because you put in the time, the work, the effort, the practice to be able to do it on Saturday.
The incompletion that you had where your foot was out of bounds, was that also a double move as well? How did you go about that? Okay. And then in the end zone, when it was a little wide, after the Brandon Key sneak, how did you get open? Because you created a lot of separation there as well. Was that an out?
It's just running a fade or a slant depending on how I feel about the situation, how he's feeling in front of me, how his body's moving, how I feel like if I can get him one way, I'll go that way. If I can get him the other way, I'll just go opposite of whatever he's doing.
And then the other incompletion was a miscommunication. It looks like you ran a comeback and Dylan threw it to you. So.
Yeah, it was just an option route. That'll happen. I mean, we got options that we can run when we're running routes. So I mean, if that happens, once in a blue moon, it'll happen like that sometimes.
So selfishly, how good does it feel knowing that the incompletions that you had where either miscommunications or a ball thrown wide or your foot just gets out of bounds that much. Otherwise, you beat a top 20 pick in this draft.
I mean, you know, it feels good. Again, like I said, I know I've prepared in the offseason. I know I've prepared all my life to have the opportunity to do things like that. So, you know, it really doesn't surprise me. I feel like, again, there's definitely things that should have been better in that game to, you know, exploit what I can actually do. But, you know, we'll get that cleaned up, and, you know, we'll be ready to go this week.
You mentioned